Hey there, welcome back to Total Geek Live, Baltimore Presents. I am Baltimore, and today I am bringing you Marvel Comics 1000, issue 1000. Did they actually have 1,000 issues? Well, actually, let's see. This is celebrating 80 years of Marvel. And while we kind of have to do some funny math to get there, technically they based Marvel Comics based on 1939, which is the year that Marvel Comics 1 came out. It wasn't actually imprint of Marvel Comics, what we know. It was actually Timely Comics and Agent of Atlas Comics. So there were some iterations before we actually get what we consider Marvel Comics, which is Fantastic Four #1. But here we go. 80 years of Marvel, celebrating 80 years, 1939 to 2019. That's pretty impressive. So we have 80 creative teams, 80 pages. It's a monster book. I got this lovely variant copy with a great number of artwork from a lot of really important issues, covers, and then just moments inside of them that you're kind of like, oh my god, you have Demon in the Bottle, you have Jean Grey as Phoenix, you have new X-Men. So there's a lot of really, really great moments on this cover that are really, really great. It's a big, big book, $10, 80 pages, 80 creative teams. It's really kind of impressive just to pull it all together. And not only that, they're celebrating it in such a way that they're actually creating a through line from 1939 to 2019 and actually beyond. So there's over 80 pages of content. Each story is a page taken from one single year, from 1939 to 2019. And it's actually pretty brilliant. I really enjoyed it. It's a nice little love letter to a lot of Marvel comics from before. Here you can see all the creators from that have contributed to this. So I'll have some notable ones that I'm just like, wow, I'm really glad that they were included. That's Chris Claremont, Alex Ross, Alan Heinberg, David Walker, Donny Cates, George Perez, Jerry Conway, Gail Simone, Eric Larson, J. Michael Straczynski, Jason Latour, Jason Aaron, Jeff Lemire, Jeff Loeb, Jim Chung, Jim Zub, Joe Quesada, John Cassaday, Jonathan Hickman, Catherine Inman, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Kelly Thompson, Kieran Gillen, Kurt Busiek. We got Mark Waid, Matt Rosenberg, Neil Gaiman. Awesome. We've got Patrick Zurcher, Peter David, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller, who are part of the Into the Spider-Verse. That was a really great one to have in here. We got Priest, we got Salvador LaRocca, Steve Epting, Stuart Eminem, Terry Dodson, Teenie Howard, Tom DeFalco. So there's and Walter Simonson. So there's so many great artists creators that came back to celebrate Marvel 80 years. Of course, there are some missing ones that you're kind of like you think about when you think about Marvel, like Bendis, Rucka, Brubaker, Fraction, Millar. Those are some notable absences in this list, but it's really, really great. So what they're kind of doing is they're making a through line, and Al Ewing provides that through line with the Eternity Mask, and that's the MacGuffin of this story. So we have a couple of things that we start off with. The Eternity Mask, where it's a mystery, like what is it, where did it come from, we don't know, and it's been around for a very long time. It shows up in medieval times with the first Black Knight, so we see it there, and then we see it coming over to America. We have it in Alpha Flight. We have it showing up with Fantastic Four when they were searching for the cocoon that Adam Warlock comes out of. And the people who are actually searching for it in present day, that's Jimmy Woo of Agents of Atlas. We have Sunspot, who was U.S. Avengers, New Mutant, X-Men of that frame. So that's really cool to see that. You have Blue Marvel, who is searching for it as well, and Night Thrasher. So the four of them are kind of providing like the main chunk of the story, the through line from 1939 to present. Um, and they're trying to search for this Eternity Mask. Who made it? Where did it come from? Where is it now? Because it's missing. And they each go through moments where they are looking for it with the various teams that they've been a part of. Jimmy Woo looks for it with his Agents of Atlas, which would be Namora and the Uranian. So there's some cool scenes with them. Sunspot's looking through it. He is, at this point, um, consolidated AIM and made it into the Avengers idea mechanics. So he's a lot more resources to pull together to find it. Night Thrasher is doing his own kind of search, and Blue Marvel's wrapped in because he might have an idea about what's going on. So it's kind of interesting to start from the very beginning. The pages are really, obviously, very beautiful, and they do some really great call-outs to stories that we've seen before, and then giving you moments you're like, oh wow, I'm so glad we got to see a little bit of character and depth from these. And then they just have some really fun ones. You have an interview with the Hulk, which is cool. You have a day with Hellcat, Patsy Walker. You have interviews with MJ, which is really, really touching. That was a really great one by, I think it was Jerry Conway. So that was really cool. You have Howard the Duck in there. Not a huge fan of him. I know there are some really great Howard the Duck fans, but there's a Lisa Page for you here. That's just cool. You have a really great scene between Punisher and Wolverine, which is kind of a fun little subversive, not subversive, but not what you'd expect to see from a Punisher and Wolverine story. So that was really cool. You have some outrageous ones like Deadpool, always breaking the fourth wall there. A great one with She-Hulk. That's really awesome. And it's kind of really just neat. You get to see the first take of the original Horsemen of Apocalypse from way, way, way back. So that's cool. You have a neat one with Thing, where he's doing another interview type of thing. You have a great homage with Liefeld and Cable and the X-Force. So that's kind of cool to see as a contribution to this tale. A great one with Thor. That's kind of neat. Kind of gives him, more a little bit of elements that you didn't get to see. One that I actually thought was really, really funny was with Hercules, and it was homaging when he had his very first limited series, which was set in the future, and it's him kind of like always doubting himself with Thor, and so it's this back and forth between the recorder who's announcing Hercules and Hercules kind of off stage, requesting to be the one that's, the best of everything. So that's really kind of a fun one. I enjoyed. So this is really kind of fun. They actually had a random Star Wars one. I know that they have the rights for it, but that was the one that kind of just stood out to me because I was like, that's not really following in the, vein of everything else in here. But it was really cool because it did give some context to Red 4. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you know that reference. And there were some really, really, really fun ones. I thought it was really great the way that the Al Ewing made it through line from 1939 to the present with this Eternity Mask MacGuffin that we're still trying to figure out where it came from. It's clear that it sort of has celestial origins, but we're not sure where exactly it is. There are people who are trying to, use it for dastardly purposes, but the Eternity Mask is supposed to protect and allow for the underdogs to, stop evil from happening. There's been various wearers of this Eternity Mask, and while it doesn't make you invulnerable, while you have the mask on, you will not die. So that's one important thing, because you see some of the people who have been the Eternity Mask wearers before, when their hood is removed, the mask is removed, they die, because the injuries don't stop, they're just prevented while the mask is on. But I really, really liked it. I think one of the great little moments that we had before the Masked Raider, and then it has in 2020, the Masked Raider will be, the face will be revealed. and you're like wondering who actually could be under this mask. And I have some theories about it. I have some thoughts about who it could be. I'm hoping it's an existing character, or at least one that we've met in here, if you know what I mean. And then we had a really great moment at the very end when they bring up Corvus. Korvac is online. And that is pretty significant because the Korvac saga is really important to the Avengers lore. It's caused a lot of problems, and very interesting to have Korvac also entwined with the Eternity Mask. So we'll see how that actually holds up. And then they had a really wonderful in memoriam page, top billing Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and Steve Ditko. And then it gives a list of all the other creators who they are honoring with this comic. And I thought that was really lovely and a great way to kind of honor their past and look towards the future. At $10 for one comic, that's a bit much for veteran Marvel fans like me. I'm glad to be able to do it. So it does kind of, wonder if it's going to have a lot of longevity for that matter. But I really, really enjoyed this so much. There's going to be another issue coming out to kind of build upon this. And then in 2020, we'll find out who the masked writer is. I want to know your thoughts on it, who you think it's going to be. Did you enjoy this? Which was your favorite combination of creators on these? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share. I will be back with more Marvel goodness for you. And as always, it's all geek to us.